All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Legacy and Impact. Let's I swap a couple things around. Welcome to Legacy and Impact. Last night we initiated our call, but unfortunately there was an emergency. Something came up. So it is tonight, Friday, December 8th, and it is a privilege and an honor, as always, to welcome you, Margaret, Monica, Jeff, and I know that there's going to be a number of other people. God, hopefully there will be a number of other people that join us. But great information, lots going on in the world. So with that being said, Jeff, I know that you had brought up the topic of Ensure. A couple of years back, we were tapping into a coin called Ensure, which is a cryptocurrency that's tapping into the healthcare industry, and their goal was to be the cryptocurrency that's adopted by the healthcare industry, so that people can both pay with this token, as well as if they refer some people, they can stockpile and then make money off of it. So that was the background behind Ensure. And Jeff, when you read through that, what did you? Is it just an update on? Because I glanced through it myself. Is it just an update of what's going on, or for us to be able to cash out something? What did you get from that?
I think we have a chance to cash out. Hold on a second. I'm right in the middle of placing a bid. So
Okay, no problem. I'll come back to you.
let me go ahead and place my bid, and then I'll get out of here. You know how it is. Always that last second. We're gonna see if I get it.
It's all good. It's all good. So with that being said, Monica or Margaret, you guys have anything exciting to talk about this week happening in your world, in your life?
Well, other than the fasting I told you about, I dropped another 3 pounds. So
Wow.
I'm down 11. I'm down 11 pounds now.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Just again, like we mentioned last night, when you're losing weight gradually and it's not this crash, and you're doing it while you're monitoring your intake, that's the way to do it. So congratulations, right?
Yeah, it's a learning curve, because it's fats and proteins, and then proteins and carbs, and then you don't mix. You don't have the carbs with the fat, and so it's a balance. It's a balance, and yeah, like I said, it's a learning curve. So I kind of knew about this. I've been getting information here and there over the last couple of years.
Yep.
But kind of made me feel good that at least, like, I know about some of this stuff, and I go, oh, okay, I think I'm on the right path here. I think what I'm doing is working for me, and it's going to work out to be beneficial in the long run. It's just, it takes a discipline and some self-control, so
That's the key.
yeah,
it all takes discipline. So
and consistency, obviously.
very much so. That's the key. That's the key.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
I'm super excited about, because again, I'm in a similar situation. You're younger than me, but I'm 61. I love the fact that we now can be learning so much information, stuff that we really should have learned a long time ago, but
sure.
better late than never. And again, if you make minor changes at your life, you will start to see the difference. And that was one of the when I initiated Legacy and Impact. Health is an equal component to your wealth and your financial resources. In fact, it's even more important, because at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, if you aren't in good health, you don't have anything, right? So
right.
I really, really applaud you, Margaret, for
Thank
taking that
you.
on. Because
Well, it's funny, because I see so many people around me, and they're having health problems, and it's like, it's just one person after the other, after the other, after the other. And I'm like, I would rather learn from the mistakes of others than have to go through that myself. Obviously, we age, but this is supposedly supposed to be an anti-aging way to a lifestyle. It's supposedly, and there's been a lot of research done on it. And so, yeah, I just feel like, once I get this under my belt, then I can maybe help others, that are struggling, because, a lot of the US is obese, you know,
An,
it's an epidemic.
an
What is it
incredible.
that you're doing?
Well, what it is it's intermittent fasting.
Mhm.
And so I go my starting base of fasting is 14 hours, and then I go up to 16 hours, and then my first meal of the day is protein and a fat breakfast. And along with that, I have apple cider vinegar and lemon juice. I drink that with a half a cup of water, about a cup of water. I drink that. And then in my coffee, I do what's called a bullet coffee, which is coffee with grass-fed butter and MCT oil, which I just bought on Amazon. I've used it before myself, but so it's kind of like a puzzle here. Like I see all these little pieces coming together of things I've already learned and started doing, but I lack the discipline and the training, and maybe just, and I was like, it's just a fad, this is just a fad. But I'm seeing the results. In a month, I've lost 11 pounds. And I'm like, wow, my appetite has decreased. Food is not my go-to anymore, because through COVID, I really experienced the loneliness and isolation, and food was my comfort. And so getting through that and realizing my difficulty with food and sweets and sugar and, just jacked up on caffeine all day long. This bullet coffee is like 2 coffees a day. So, anyway, there's a lot of research done on this, and a few of the people that I'm associated with kind of know about this also. So it's not a keto diet. It's definitely not. But it has some of the characteristics of a keto. But keto, I tried doing this years ago, and I just feel like for long term, it's probably not the best for me. So anyway, if that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. It is about consistency and what works for you.
Right.
And oftentimes it'll work for a little bit to achieve your goal, and then you got to kind of do the tweaks, and make the adjustments that will support you in the long haul. So congratulations.
The
Yeah,
lady that's leading this group, I had to pay for this program that I'm in. The lady that's leading the group, if you're familiar with Prince, the singer, she was one of his dancers. Her name is Robia, and she was one of the dancers that danced on stage with Prince. So she was a bodybuilder at one time. She's really transformed her weight and her body and her physique and everything, and her lifestyle, So I really feel like I'm following somebody that's already, done this and had results. So
Right. And like you keyword was lifestyle. We get to do this for the long haul, right? And drink plenty of the right kind of water and do all the things that are working. And you might like have a bad moment or a bad day, and that's okay. You just get back on and continue to do it. And that's what's going to keep you healthier and stronger and more vibrant.
yeah, there's so many benefits to it. Once you get past the initial, oh my God, this is a drag, because that's really what I was thinking in the beginning. I'm like, this is a bummer. I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, this sucks. I'm gonna be starving myself when I'm fasting. I was so anti this when I first started, and we had a Facebook group, and I commented, and I threw every like negative thing I could think about this on Facebook, and people were so kind and so compassionate. And about a week and a half into it, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna give this a try. And like I said, I hadn't lost any weight either. So the weight loss is like, I've only noticed it the last week and a half that I actually lost weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Good stuff. Well, and we can hear it in your voice and in your attitude, Margaret. That's the biggest notice for me. That's the big takeaway. So,
Well, it does change your brain chemistry.
Yeah, there's so many benefits for your body with intermittent fasting done properly.
Yes, it is. Your confidence level. And see, this is not just fasting, it's also prayer. So these women that I'm with and the men that I'm with, we are praying for each other and cheering each other on. And we all have different prayer requests, so I want to move the hand of God towards Margaret. So I'm like, I'm willing to do this because I want to have the kind of life that I want to have. And I realize to do that, I've got to do something I've never done before to have the kind of life I've never had before. So
correct.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah. And when funny, Monica, you mentioned water, because that's what I was as you start moving in that direction, your water intake will prove to be the most important part of it. Once you get your weight loss under control and all of that, you get down to your targeted weight. Monica, we now have access to latest technology, world-class breakthrough revolutionary technology in hydrogen water. So, which is both, there's business opportunity, but more importantly, the opportunity to get the highest quality of water into our bodies on a regular basis. So that will prove to be the next level for you. So, and Monica,
I never told you this, Stephen, but I met Jeremy Rifkin. He's out of Washington, D.C., and he had a book that he had written, and he did a seminar on the hydrogen economy, which was about hydrogen water. But this was 23 years ago.
It's not new science, but what is happening is now it's becoming accessible how you can get it, right? Because that's one of the biggest challenges with hydrogen is its transport, getting it in its purest form to the consumer. Hasn't been a mechanism for that, and now they can hydrogenate your water wherever you are with these new hydrogen bottles. That's the key. And then from a business perspective, our entity, which is part of the reason why I had to abort last night, our business entity, we have state-of-the-art, the finest and most accessible hydrogen generation plants available to us that we are going to be rolling out across the country for the generation of hydrogen cars. Right, which again, the future of cars is not EV, electronic vehicles. It's hydrogen cars that run on hydrogen. That is the future.
Right.
And we have the leading edge of that, and we're going to be setting up hydrogen plants all across the country. So super exciting. So time will tell.
Margaret, let me give you a little suggestion on something that I work. I know where you're at. I know you're at the beginning stage, which is easy to lose. Your body's smart. It's actually intelligent. It knows you better than it knows itself. So when you're eating good and you're taking care of yourself, you're doing great. You're in the first 30 days, 60 days, which is great. After that, it starts adjusting. When it starts adjusting, that's when it gets hard. And so those cravings, after you eat a good meal, that heavy sugar craving, which comes on, which takes you back out, learn how to deal with that one. Say, no, I do not. I just want to let you know, I've been trying. Let me see if I can focus this thing in. There we go. Chewing gum.
Yep.
Icebreaker. And it's actually good for your gums. It heals your gums. It takes care of the bacteria that's in your gums while you're chewing it. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. It also takes away the craving that you get after a meal. I know you're fasting, which is great. I go to work and I just chew up a storm because I already know that's what's killing me is those cravings. And I know fasting, because I'm doing it right now, I could get up to 16 hours, which that's pushing it. But normally I do about 12 and I got to eat something again. But yeah, keep it up and you can lose weight. You just got to control it. It's really hard to control. And those carbohydrates is the one that's doing it, not that high density sugar. Those carbohydrates are the ones
Yeah,
messing up our
well, the
pancreas.
thing is, the carbohydrates are not, we're not talking pastries and breads. We're talking, starches, potatoes, starchy vegetables, rice, brown rice, things like that. So, but thank you for that input with the icebreakers. I'll have to look into that because I do have a little bit of gum issues that I'm dealing with right now. But you know what? I know me, and I this I decided a long time to go this route. It's just now it's finally coming to fruition. I feel like once I lose the weight, all I have to do is maintain it. And I know the pitfalls. So I'm going to be super aware to, guard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying.
One last thing, 16 to 18 hours is the sweet spot in intermittent fasting. And just try and reach that goal. 16 to 18 hours.
Yeah,
There was something
well,
else I was gonna say, but
she hasn't talked about 18. We're only up to 16 right now. So, and that's like 2 or 3 times a week. She said we could actually do a 14-hour base and then the rest of the week do 16 hours. So, and the thing is, we don't eat 3 hours before we go to bed. 3 hours before we go to bed. No late night snacking. I'm not even hungry by the time the 16 hours is done. I'm like forcing myself to have breakfast.
nice.
Good thing.
Yeah.
Good thing is you have a coach, you have somebody who is
Right.
supporting you. Be 100%
Right.
coachable. Whatever she tells you to do, that's what you do. Right.
Right.
Get
Right.
systemized, get yourself disciplined. And then
Right.
as we discussed, as you
Right.
shift out of either the program as it comes to an end, then it's up to you and your disciplines. So, but
Right.
I know you can do it, and we're here to support you. So fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. So yeah, again, I think it's just going to be us. So I'm going to keep the conversation very simple tonight. Okay. Again, last night, I was, the reason why I had to abort the call was, I think most of you guys know I'm involved with a project where we're going to be abolishing homelessness. It's a $27 billion real estate development deal. We were ready to go with funding, and COVID kind of turned everything upside down. And just like FinCEN is involved with, tracking LLCs and stuff like that, when large amounts of money are moving from place to place or country to country, there's so much scrutiny that's involved that it's almost impossible to get anything done in this day and age. And so as a result, we've been, as they say in the film business, hurry up and wait. We've been standing by, waiting for all of the pitfalls and all of the challenges to be moved so we can actually get ahead. And like we talked about last night, the statistics coming out of the mayor of Los Angeles's office. They've spent over $67 million since she became mayor a year ago, and they've housed 255 families, shy of the 100 and somebody thousand people that we have in California that are homeless. So I'm not sure how that's a success story, but again, our project will literally be able to take care of roughly 60 to 70% of the homelessness. The 30% that deal with mental illness, they will always be, necessary for the state. We won't be able to help them, but the majority of people, our project will be able to help. And so we're it's a spirit-led project. And I'm sharing this with you because, again, I love the fact that you mentioned, Margaret, prayer is an integral part of that program. No matter which program you're tapping into, prayer and connectivity to God is proving to be essential, right? And I'm very, very excited at the awareness that is being promoted and instilled in the world, right? And because none of us can take can solve any of these problems. But if God puts it in our hearts, and we along with God, we can do anything. As it says, we can do all things through Christ. So because of the challenges we've been dealing with the finances, oddly enough, completely out of the blue, another group, a Christian Korean organization, has stepped up and said that they are anxious. They would like to be involved with our project. And in fact, they're standing by with not the $27 billion that we have for our project, actually $30 billion and what happened is we were scheduled for meetings in the beginning of January to sign contracts, to move forward, to finalize a deal. And what happened was, oddly enough, I happened to be in Los Angeles, and the top finance person for this group flew into town specifically off the schedule in order to see the project, meet John, go to the facility, go to the land. So they are super, super excited. And so I needed to have a meeting last night with regards to that, because there's work that we need to do behind the scenes. And so I apologize. That's why, it's a $30 billion. And again, once this project funds, literally everybody involved with Legacy and Impact, your lives can and will be changed simply by saying, I'd like to participate. And again, I don't know what that looks like, because we're all so diverse. But if you want an opportunity, if you would like to participate, there's going to be more than enough opportunity as well as funding to set the course, or potentially change your lives forever, as we are looking to do that. So that's why last night was important. So I apologize. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. But we're super excited because hopefully 2024 will be an entire year of action and results. And much like Margaret, and much like all of us know, it's so frustrating to be in a situation where you're ready and you're prepared and your heart's in the right place, and you're what I call doing the Scooby-Doo, right? When Scooby-Doo would jump up in the air and he'd run, but he wouldn't go anywhere, right? And that, unfortunately, is oftentimes how entrepreneurialism shows up. Is we are stuck, and we've got to make some adjustments, or just settle down, anchor, and know that God is in control. Make sense? Right? So our topic for tonight is God's timing. God's timing. We are taking a look at everything that's going on in our world. And if you are a person of sound mind and thinking, you have to scratch your head and say, what the hell's going on? Right? And unfortunately, when things seem chaotic, right, seem out of whack, just know that we've already been warned in the Bible, where it says, I forget which book it says, but in the future, they will call evil good and good evil, right? And that never made sense to me before, because how could that be? But that's exactly what we're seeing right now, right? Would you agree? Right? And so
Yes.
with reference to God's timing, and again, if you're in a season where, like my son was calling me, he's in a season, he's just come out of the film strike, and he's working on, he's working and he's getting his things together, but it's like rent's due and all these things are due, and it's like, I got paychecks coming in, and so today I was coaching him on how to navigate through that. Because if you've never really dealt with that, how do you deal with landlords that say, hey, you owe me the rent, right? So I was educating him on some of the realities of that. And I said, well, if you're a tenant and you're in the property, you have far more rights. I said, you could live there for 6 months and not pay another dime, before he can do anything to get you evicted, right? But again, I said, authentic conversation is what you want to have, because when you're in real estate, When you've got a good tenant, you've got somebody whose intentions are good and they've got money in the mix, the last thing you want to do is evict somebody, right? So I said, just give them a call and say, hey, look, my paycheck's coming in next Thursday. I'll get it covered by then. And, depending on who they are, they may tap on a little bit of extra money for whatever reason, right? But, authentic conversation is the key, right? So with reference to God's timing, right? There's 3 components to God's timing, and you may want to take notes. We've talked about this before. Number 1 is ask. Number 2 is seek. And number 3 is knock. Right? Because it's so easy for us to get caught up in the bullshit of our own thinking, right? The client that I was speaking about before, recently scammed. Her mind, she's not capable of thinking rationally because of everything that she's just gone through, right? And so, depending upon where you're at in the equation, your job as an entrepreneur is to be level thinking, laser focused. This is my point. Doesn't matter what's going on in here. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. It's right here. I'm focused on my intentions. I'm focused in my direction. I'm focused in my actions. I'm focused in my results. That is how you get to the finish line, right? And so I want to share with you, because again, I've got a lot of different things going on, but I learned how to have a lot of things going on. And I'm an advocate for being laser focused, but I'm also an advocate for having several pokers in the fire, right? Everybody familiar with that, right? So I used to be solely focused on one thing, one opportunity, as I was taught, don't get distracted, don't do anything else, just keep all of this, right? And I wasted a lot of time. I got in deeper debt than I was comfortable with. It took a major toll on my relationships with my former spouse, with my children, with the people around me. Because what happens is when we're laser focused and we're not willing to listen or pay attention to anything else, oftentimes we can miss the road signs, right? The road sign that says caution, the road sign that says bridge out up ahead, the road sign that says last stop for gas, right? So though you're focused, pay attention to the signs, and hopefully that makes sense. So Monica, I know you've got a number of things. Margaret, I think that you're kind of finding your niche. And Jeff, I know you're focused, but I want to share with you some of the things that I am. And again, I wanted to help you guys be better prepared, because there's opportunities all around, right? And I'm going to do a quick screen share and see if we can't. Oh, I realized that last week the audio, I couldn't, you couldn't hear the audio with that clip because this microphone cancels out everything that's outside of directly in front of it. So you guys can see my script, or the screen. This is what's coming down the pipe, okay, for us. Is that it? No, that's not it. Here it is. Income tax is going to be challenged moving forward. There's some things coming up in the court system that is going to challenge. Hold on, I need to change my speaker. Where is it? Yeah, hopefully you'll be able to hear this. Let me see if I can do this.
A case now heading to the Supreme Court could make many government taxes illegal. They're claiming that a key ruling on this could cost the federal government several trillions of dollars in lost taxes. That also means American citizens will have trillions of dollars in money that is not being seized through taxes. The case, which is Moore v. United States, may appear to center on a request for a $14,729 tax refund, but it could redefine what is considered income in America, change how Congress taxes it, and preemptively block future efforts by Democrats to impose levies on billionaires as well. Remember, this is New York Times saying it. If they do this, it could get rid of taxes on our retirement accounts. It could eliminate taxes on gains in the value of property you own. It could wipe out 2/3 of the tax code. This is massive. The implications of a Supreme Court ruling on it, because of all the technicalities in the Constitution it's connected to, could be massive. If her ruling is made on this from the Supreme Court, it could actually deem many other taxes in the United States unconstitutional.
So hopefully you guys could hear that. Did you hear that?
A case now heading to the Supreme Court could make many government taxes illegal. They're claiming that a key ruling on this could cost the federal government several trillions of dollars.
Okay.
I heard it,
You guys
but
heard
I
that?
don't believe it. I don't believe it. They're going to keep paying taxes. So,
Well, the reason why I wanted to address that is in the realm of legalities, there's what's called precedent. Once something has been established, once a precedent has been established, then everything changes, right? Because it is challenged, and once there's a ruling, it's like now everything references to that. Okay, so statistically, and in my opinion, and in the opinion of countless people, income tax is 100% unconstitutional. That is what we want and need to have challenged, right? Because the reason why is because in the Constitution, we are given the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay, then the pursuit of happiness requires us to be able to provide for ourselves and to sustain ourselves and be able to make a living and provide for ourselves. Income tax is taxation on our ability to do that. And so that's there's no question that that's unconstitutional. I hope that somebody in the future has the balls to bring that to the conversation. But this court case may be the door that opens up to it. All right, that makes sense. So again, I just wanted to let you guys know that. And it's funny, as I interact with people that are filing taxes and stuff like that, they oftentimes come from that perspective, and I say, I support you 100%. Right? It's 100% unconstitutional. But you have to ask yourself, do you want to go down? Is that the hill you want to die on, or do you want to figure out how you can pay as little as possible, knowing that when you have a goose that lays golden eggs, you want to feed it and take really good care of it, right? Things to think about. So in our
I am, and I spent Thanksgiving with my sisters.
Yep.
And one sister is definitely on all the social medias and talking to me about that the federal government is under scrutination right now.
Yep.
And probably what they call bankrupts or folding under. So that's why the Constitution, if we're talking about this issue, the liberty and the rights to people. So I agree with you what's going on there, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get rid of the federal government right off the bat. So, I mean, it's a good thought. My sister was telling me about that. I was telling her about XRP, and she said, I wouldn't do that. That's not going to happen. I said, what do you mean by that? So I started listening to her, and she's definitely on all that social media. She's definitely a Trump supporter. She's definitely on all that social media and doing all that stuff. She's got insights on all that stuff that's going down right now.
Yep.
And she's telling me right now that there's a lot of big issues going on right now. And they said she's even told me they're holding Trump back right now because they don't want him involved right now. So
Of course.
so
Yep. Yep. These are-
but yeah, she did mention to me about the federal government's going to be folding. XRP's not taking over at all. There's something else in planned, and they're definitely not going to do the CBDCs. Something else is in plan. So I'm just kind of keeping up with her. To me personally, I'm listening. I'm not great supporting it right now, but I'm listening.
That's the key. This is the season to observe, right? And so cool. With reference to having many pokers in the file, one of my business mentors is a gentleman by the name of Marshall Silver. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with Marshall Silver. At one point in his life, he was the most famous hypnotist in the world. He had a big Vegas show and quite a character, but an extraordinary entrepreneur. And he was the one that taught me. He says, at any given time, I always have 12 pokers in the fire, right? He says, right now, you have all my attention. Whenever I'm focused on something, I give 100% of myself, but I've got all these other things that are going on. And he says, which one do I focus on? The one that's generating the most money gets my attention. And at any point, he can be bouncing around to it. So, and I started internalizing that message. And it was very, very challenging, like I said, because I had been conditioned, no, just do one thing and do it really, really well. And so, and I just wanted to brief everybody and think about to think about this and start setting yourself up, because at the end of the day, you need to be your own brand. You need to be a person of integrity. You need to be a person that brings value in every room that you walk into. You never know who you're going to speak to. You never know whose life you're going to touch. But if you come from that place of purity, knowledge, and empowerment, guaranteed every room you walk into, people are going to go, oh, I want your information. You're somebody I want to keep in touch with, right? And that is how you determine whether you were a success when you walked into the room or not, right? How many people go, oh, can I get your information, or do you have a card, right? And so we're working on a number of things. I met with a guy who let me show you what I've got going on, right? So screen share, sorry. Again, I'm still a technophobe when it comes to all this stuff. Desktop share. Okay. So I trust you guys are familiar with the various different things like LinkTr.ee. I use LinkTr.ee, and it's a way where you can have all of your social media, all of your connections with, so that way people, if they want to see what you're involved with, or they want to link to something, then it goes through that, right? So mine is LinkTr, LinkTr.ee/Steven Strachan. And so when I send off my information to people, this is the last thing. That's my phone number's there, my email address, website, whatever I want them to focus on. And then I've got my LinkTr at the bottom. And so within my LinkTr, and again, I encourage all of you to get something like this, so that way people can follow you, people can find out what you got, people are interested in what you're doing, right? And so I'm marketing myself right now, though I have, people know me for a lot of different things. I'm marketing myself as a tax and infinite wealth strategist, an entrepreneur, investor, coach, mentor, and legacy builder, right? So that's the simplicity. That's what I stand for. So as long as that is of interest to people, we can have a great conversation. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not in that space, but many people are. right? So again, who you want to be identified with, you want to have at the top so that that way people understand what you're interested in. And I've got this, if people click on this, you know, you can put your information in, I get a message, and next thing you know, you can schedule an appointment with me, right? It's very, very passive, and it's all geared towards. So if they click on this link here, it takes them to my website for infinite banking and trusts and leverage. You know, the life insurance policies, all that infinite banking and vortex banking. I'm not sure why it's going so slowly, right? But that'll open up. And then I've got legacy and impact, which is this. Again, I put things in the order that are important to me because I'm always referring people to the different entities. So legacy and impact, that opens up. And so people can learn about that. And there's videos here. So I encourage you all to start figuring out what are the things that make up who you are, right? And I know, Jeff, you've got a lot of things that you're involved with. So really focus on that branding, because when you engage with people, they're going to want to know, and you want to make it easy for them to follow you, to have all of your contact information. And there may be something in your list of things they weren't even aware of, right?
Yeah, I was just looking for websites last night because you mentioned to me, the abbreviations, and I was trying to find that. But you know how they have the abbreviations, make that website really expensive. So I'm trying to find some other alternative ways of doing it. So I found a few ways, which is inexpensive for like $11 a year. I
Yep.
could probably do 10 years for like $400 or $500 and get 10-year website set up. So yeah, I'm doing that, but I'm also, like I said, I'm still taking that course, and
Yep.
they were actually talking about entrepreneurness and, well, I'm trying to say it right, but how to structure what you're trying to accomplish and how to structure yourself by saying to yourself, but to see what I'm trying to do is to be an entrepreneur, CP, whatever, my own corporation. Plus, I'm trying to be an asset manager. That's what I want to do as an asset manager, to accrue assets. That's what I want to do. That's why I want to do the holding company, so I can accrue assets, all different types of assets. So CEO, that's it. CEO, asset manager, plus counseling and consulting is what I
Correct.
want to do.
Correct.
But I also want to do what you're talking about, investments and learning to teach people how to do investments and stuff that I'm learning. I can teach other people about.
Exactly, because your knowledge base is theirs. When we learn stuff, that's ours. We invest the time, we invest the energy, and now I've got this knowledge base that can be an additional stream of income. And again, it doesn't need to be your main thing. It just needs to be something when you put it out there, there's always somebody that would like to know that information, right? And then from there, you also build in the referral network, which is where I'm getting to within the conversation, right?
Well, I appreciate what you showed me here. This is perfect.
Yeah.
Steve, I just wanted to add, I have a friend, because I'm not that tech savvy either, but I have a friend who's like a marketing expert,
Yep.
and she can assist if anybody needs to build their LinkTr.ee. She can help support you with like the branding. Like, I'm not really sure. I have 3 or 4 things. How do we put it all in one pie? She can really support with that. So if anyone's interested, let me know.
Yeah, I had a guy come to our office yesterday, and what he's doing, again, he's just what I love about him is he's providing the creative services, like you were talking about, Monica, helping people, because most people don't have that skill set to put things together easily. And he's charging $600, but that's 3 years worth of service. So it ends up being $200 per year. And he puts together something like this, and everything is interactive and connected. Beautiful, beautiful work. And like as I explained to him, what he's doing is he's simply adding a wow factor. And if you recall, we talked about the wow factor, and that's how you make a real impact. And so he's got, on your phone, you can have a QR code. You just take a quick, do you have a business card here? Take a picture of this, hit just one simple button. It's saved to your contacts. Everything is readily available. Anything that you want to put into it is right there. So it's kind of like, as he explained, it's like LinkTr.ee on steroids, because it allows everything to kind of interact and they move about. And so there's a natural, not complex, but very artistic way that the opportunities or the things reveal themselves. So very, very cool. And like I said, very affordable, right? And then, so some of the other opportunities, I created EOA Life, and that's a consultation. And it's so funny because I met somebody the other day in Mexico, and she was just there on vacation, and we entered into conversation. She says, "Oh my gosh, I want to be able to live here, but I'm stuck in this job. And how do I do this?" So I simply referred her to EOA Life, right? And with EOA Life, like for $149, I'll spend an hour with you, and we'll put together a structure, a strategy, so that way you can actually start building an exit strategy from your job, right? And that was something that I put together before, but I literally saw it work, where she says, "Yeah, I'd love to do that," because most people don't have a trusted resource, right? And when you meet somebody and you're just engaged, you're having conversation, there's authentic connectivity. And it's like, well, how do I get in touch with you? I literally said, "Here, just schedule an appointment on here, and we can talk about your stuff." I said, "Enjoy your vacation. When you get back into town, when you get back home and you're frustrated in your job, hit me up," right? So I've got my Tax Now company on here as well, which is our website. Again, most websites are ineffective, with the exception of, it just shows your logo, it shows your presence, right? We've talked about the 7K metals and precious metals. I'm structuring this as, again, I've got people in their mindset. What we're talking about is finances, secure your legacy, gold, silver, precious metals, and collectibles, right? And then we've got our pre-launch opportunity with Luma Vitae, which is our hydrogen bottle, revolutionary hydrogen bottle, right? All this sort of stuff. Collecting information. We've got our coffee business as well, right? And the objective is not to make a crazy amount of money anywhere. The objective is to have multiple streams of income coming into your life. And then on here also is the legacy and impact. All the calls now are on YouTube. So if you want to listen to a call again, they're all included here. So, all righty.
Let me ask you a question. Is that open to the public or is that private?
The Legacy Vault Library?
No, this was website itself.
It's open to the website. It's open to everybody.
So you could go there and you just put in your name and it'll come up.
Correct.
Can you make it private?
I don't know. I mean, the intention of it is to give people one place where they can get all of your contact or all of your links. So I don't know if it has that option.
Okay,
but you may be able to. But again, this is only one. Since registering with LinkTr.ee, there's a whole bunch of these companies that I have been exposed to, right? And I'm trying to think of the name of the other one.
So what's the fee charge? How much do they charge?
For this, LinkTr.ee is $9 a month, $10, right? And
that's just one, or can you have multiple?
You have one LinkTr.ee and all of your things go in there. So,
okay.
So it's a way for me. But again, I had to learn this because I had to let go of some things. I just was working on this. But then as I have other things that have come into my fold and into my income stream, it's like, why wouldn't I connect the dots between one thing or another, right? Because literally everybody should be involved with a network marketing company, right? Everybody, just for the tax benefits. Find something that you like, register with it. That way you've got some write-offs if you need it. Again, you got to look from a tax perspective. Our goal is to fill your toolbox with tools, so that way when tax season comes along, you got enough in there so we can minimize your tax liabilities as much as possible.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to ask you two questions.
Uh-huh.
One, I feel uncertain about my one bank account with my LLC. Is there a possibility, because it's a self-directed Roth IRA, is it possibility to have two bank accounts with the self-directed Roth IRA?
I assume you could, because but I don't know why you would need that. I mean, because usually bank accounts carry with them fees, right? So where LLCs or companies can set up multiple accounts, oftentimes you'll have your operational account, you'll have your income accounts, and then you'll have your tax, money that you stash away for taxes. And so usually like they'll have 3 or 4 different accounts. Each one serves a different function. So
the reason why I'm bringing that up is I'm hearing a lot of people, because they're having problems getting their accounts frozen. Like I started out from the beginning of this conversation, I've heard people already get their accounts frozen, and they're telling everybody to please, please, please make sure you have more than just one account. And when you're doing with crypto, or even if you have some of these people have these foreign country LLCs, like in the Cayman Islands, and if there's a problem there, you don't have connections with anybody, they just freeze the account and you can't get access. And that's the reason why I'm concerned about it, because everybody's playing all these games with crypto, and it's, you don't get it done right or something happens, they freeze your account. And I want to make sure I got assets in other accounts so I can actually get funds out if I needed to.
That's why I'm an advocate when you're setting up your companies to set up as partnerships. Okay. Because if it's a partnership, then they won't freeze the accounts, because usually, unless they're after both the partners, right? But usually, because it's not dedicated to one person, if it's a sole person and you're the only person that's connected to it, yes, then they can freeze it, but they can't freeze a partnership's account, right? So
that's why I was wondering. That's why I was wondering.
Yep.
Also, let's see what else I wanted to ask you. Oh, by the way, I'm checking Insure. Insure is no longer on CoinMarketCap. So they're showing that they're not on CoinMarketCap anymore. I don't know if they're on the stock market anywhere. So we're gonna have to do a little bit more research on Insure.
I can reach out to the guys that connected me with them. They're all good people and legitimate. So and I've got the CEO's phone number as well, so I can touch base and just see. Yeah, they may have not been able to make it, and that email was about liquidating, resources, assets. So because they were
one other thing I got from the course that I was taking, that the guy was stressing today. He says, he was explaining, he says, you could get a lot of information from the internet and YouTube and all this other stuff, but you're not going to advance in entrepreneurs not unless you're willing to pay to learn. Because he says you're going to have to go places you're going to have to pay to learn. Now, if I have to go down that avenue to learn, which I have no problem, I enjoy learning a lot of things. Is that a tax write-off for us for the business?
Of course, 100%. It's called continued education.
Okay, good. It's good to know.
Yeah.
All right. And you answered all my questions tonight.
On all your Schedule Cs, I'm always putting continued education in there, because that's what owning a business is about. That's why, when you're getting side income, you have to be pursuing knowledge, right? Again, you start a business for 4 reasons. Number 1 is tax benefits. Number 2 is new knowledge, new skill sets, new associations. The 3rd reason is to make money, right? The 4th reason is freedom, and freedom can be financial freedom, time freedom, some other type of freedom. Freedom comes in many, many different forms, right? So I'm going to, right. So, but that's the name of the game. So always be pursuing. And again, oftentimes people ask me, they say, hey, I got some money, where should I invest? And where's my response always? invest in yourself. Take a course. What do you know about the stock market? Great. Are you interested in the stock market? Great. Take a course. It teaches you the fundamentals so that you can start learning. Again, you're never going to learn everything at one time. When you go into a course, when you go into something, when you show up in a webinar, don't try and remember or learn everything. Your goal is, and this should be your goal each week, is come seeking one gold nugget. That's it. And if you get one gold nugget, you know, it was a success, mission accomplished. And that's where you ask yourself. And at the end of the day, as you put your head down on your pillow, what did I learn today? You know, what value did I bring to other people? How can I better myself tomorrow? What can I do to advance in my journey, right? And you do this with God's help and with God's permission and God's approval, and you'll be blown away with what you can happen, right? Again, that's where, you know, as with this homeless project, everything kind of seemed a little stalled. It's still advancing, but advancing like at a snail's pace. And next thing you know, from left field, some other entity comes in, and they are completely spirit-led. They are guided, and they've got all the resources that we need. And it's like, yeah, let's go. It's like, oh, okay, right? Because when the doors open, right, it's not to question. When the door opens, our job is to walk through and say, okay, where is this taking me, right? Because the reason why seeking knowledge and seeking mentors and seeking somebody who can actually engage with, because again, the book, the knowledge, the internet, you can collect information all the time, but like it says in the like it says on the Legacy and Impact website, you know, a library full of books, you know, it's all knowledge based, but again, none of it matters until you actually have somebody who's read the books and who's doing it and is willing to teach you and hold your hand through the process. You know, if you've got 1,000 books, which book do I read first? Right? Start here. Okay, I got that. What do I read next? Just do this, you know? Like these are the tax laws, right? Nobody even knows what the hell they are. We've got them, right? But the tax laws is the most complicated laws in the entire world. Which one do I start with, right? You start with the one that applies to where you're at right now, right? Like we talked about, meet people where they are. Take inventory, find out what do they know, what's their background, what are their resources, all of that sort of stuff. And then you go, oh, because you're in this place, this is what I would recommend, assuming that you know what they're passionate about, right? We're listeners. We have a wealth of knowledge. Again, ask, seek, knock. When you knock, what happens to the door?
It'll open.
The door opens. Guaranteed, right? And so again, with the different things that I've got going on, it's like, I got this, but everything interconnects. And I encourage you guys to start connecting the dots between the things that you've got going on, because one leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, right?
I learned a good lesson today.
Yeah. Which was that?
But we're in entrepreneurness, and my thoughts have actually been wrong. I was listening to my course today, and he was telling me specifically, straightforward. If you're working your job already, you're already in the mindset of the hourly worker, which is this. I'm a hard worker. I'm devoted. I'm there. They know they call me. I'm always there for them. He says, being an entrepreneur, you have to change your mindset. You have to open up your mind for other opportunities and not to look at the hourly thing that you've done. He says, you may have to work 15, 16-hour days, or even maybe even 20, says, to get your job done. But you have to look at it completely different. You don't have to wake up and say, oh, it's a job. I'm going to the job. I'm doing my job. And that's it. So I've learned today that it's all about mindset. and learning how to create and make the mindset work for you, to shut up the hourly worker and to open up creativity and learn to be a little bit more open-minded. So that's what I learned today.
Correct. Excellent. Good. Well, and what I tell people, again, when you have a W-2 job, I mean, that's fantastic because somebody is willing to pay you to learn how to run your own business, but you don't show up at the, on a daily basis as an employee. You show up as the CEO of the place, right? And you start looking and you go, okay, how can I make this situation better? Who is the best workers here? How do I, and you always bring, in all scenarios, you bring 100 to 100 or 110 to 120 to 150%, right? Because you're not there as an employee, you're there as the CEO in training, right? And again, if that's not your passion, if you don't want to own that business, you go, okay, what can I glean in this environment? Can I glean relationship management skills? What can I learn from this in this environment, right? Because the environment, unless you created it, it's never going to be exactly what you want. And that's where, it's like Walt, what's his name? Sam Walton. And you got to do this. This is how business expands. Sam Walton, he walked into the various different competitors. This was before Walmart was Walmart. And he took his team in there and they would go in on a regular basis. And they would go in as like kind of secret shoppers. And then they would come out and they would go, okay, what did you see? What did you experience? And in the beginning, all of his lackeys, all of his workers would shoot down what they were doing. Oh, they do this terrible. They do this terrible. And Sam was like, you're missing the point. Did you see how incredible their makeup counter was? We need a makeup counter like that. Did you see how they've got their automatic, like all these different things? He saw all the good things that they did right and not bashing on them. And he says, that's what we have to do. And that's how you get to be better, is you see what the competition does good and you do it even better. Right. So
Yeah.
when
Can I share something?
Yeah,
Steve?
please do, Monica.
So, exactly what everybody is saying is very awesome. But Jeff, when you were talking about the mindset, it's huge. Mindset's really important. What we think becomes what we say, becomes what we do, becomes our actions, becomes our destiny, right? And so our words are very important. And I just invite everyone to be very mindful of the words. So instead of have to, we say we get to go to work, we get to build this project, we get to be a part of this opportunity. And then as far as Margaret goes, weight, instead of saying I lost 14 pounds or whatever it may be, you maybe shift it to I released the weight. Because when you lose your keys, what do you want to do? You want to find them, right? And we don't want to find that weight back. We want to release the weight. It no longer serves us and it doesn't come back, right? So it's just a little how, and I share this and I teach this all the time. And I still catch myself every once in a while. And cancel, and I say it in the way I get to say it, right? So that's just my 2 cents.
Right. No, that's invaluable. Thank you, Monica. That's invaluable. Right. So because thoughts are things, words are things, we are creating our environment. Right. So all right. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I want to talk to everybody about. I appreciate everybody contributing tonight. It is an exciting time for us. As long as you are putting the foundation in place for the life that you are creating, right? We're ultimately creating something that wasn't going to exist unless we created it, right? That's how you live the impactful life. So
Can I mention something that I noticed here already?
Please.
Since what was it, last Thursday, the market cap for crypto was $970 billion. Today, it's 1.7 trillion. That's within 1 week.
Wow. The shift is taking place. We knew it was coming. Right. Oh, there was some other countries have signed on to be using BRICS as well. Those are the things you want to be paying attention to as well. You know, there's so much going on in the world. Build the insulation for yourselves, for your families. Again, I'm an advocate for getting positioned to be able to buy and sell gold. I'm an advocate for being able to be involved in some of the health and wellness issues. You know, I think this hydrogen bottle is going to be a huge deal, as well as other opportunities that are coming down the pipe. If you're looking for something, Monica can take care of you with reference to getting hydrogen bottles. She's literally an expert at it. I just see opportunities where they fall. But our group down in Mexico has already got, I think, about 30 people they're all water people, and they're all in the special. Again, if you put yourself in the middle of something big, when you're at the beginning of it, you can position yourself to make a bunch of money. So that's the name of the game. All righty. Have a great evening.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
Steve.
week. Thank you all
Thank
for your
you.
time and attention and your trust. God bless everybody.
Will you check with the insurer and find out what's going on
Yeah,
and let us
yeah.
know?
Yeah, no, I
'Cause
appreciate that.
we got 3 months to make a
Yeah.
decision.
No, I appreciate you sending that through to me, because it's like I've been thinking about it. It's like I should check in and see what the deal is. So
Yeah, it's starting on the 15th. So, and we
Yep.
got 3 months to make a decision. And I just looked tonight, and it's not on Coin Market Cap like it used to be. Because it says right now, it says total supply is 0. Maximum supply like 200 billion. Current supply is 0. So they're not there anymore.
Got it. All right, I'll look into that. Thank you, and I'll keep you abreast. God bless. Have a
Okay.
good week, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye.